Hey there everyone, Lord Frigid here with another Aether Raids gameplay video. This time we are in the light season, kicking things off with what is unfortunately a bit of a snoozer of a map. This is a prison setup, by which I mean the enemies are blocked in by the map designer's own structures, making it really easy to just send in a ranged attacker and blow stuff up from over walls. I do have a team specifically dedicated for maps like these. Usually it's for more save clusters, but it works just fine on this sort of setup as well. And really the only danger with a map like this, at least that I've found, is getting overconfident. Like going, okay, this map is a free win, I can just do whatever the heck I want, and then I break a structure that I really wasn't ready to break, and then suddenly an enemy can attack a unit of mine that I really didn't want them to be able to attack. It doesn't happen often, but it is something that can happen. In fact, funnily enough, it actually almost happened here, where, as you can see, there are no more enemies in range of my team. I do need to break a structure to get at the Fae, Sothis, and Ninian. And what I ended up deciding to do was I had Freya break the Bright Shrine. From there, Uller, with the warp power provided by Wedding Bell Axe, can take out the Fae. And then Alchrist, of course, can take out the Sothis. But then, oopsie daisy, Ninian's kind of fast, and Uller can't double her. Fortunately, with the Wedding Bell Axe warp active on Catria and the Oath warp active on Gullveig, I was able to have Catria break the Tactics Room. From there, Gullveig can reposition her forward, and that enables triangle attack for Uller, so she can take out the Ninian. For match number 2, I deployed my, I don't know, high mobility squad. I don't think I have a name for this still. I'll just call it my high mobility squad just to call it something. Initiating with Sigurd. Of course, Sigurd is the best initiator on this team with his high base movement and the Defres Smoke and the ability to provide extra movement to his teammates. So, I kicked things off with a hit-and-run strike. Gullveig used her extra action to reposition Sigurd out to safety, and then the safety fence locked down the enemies on the enemy phase of turn 1. For turn number 2, I had Sigurd do another initiation here, and what I actually decided was, if Nerthus takes out Innis, she applies gravity to Hel and Catria, and that allows me to leave Catria alive and have Gullveig take out the Dorothea. Sigurd, of course, can one-shot the health, since her built-in miracle effect does not apply if the enemy is using a tome. And after that, it's pretty easy cleanup with Gullveig able to take the Catria down. For match number 3, I'm deploying a new team. This is a concept that I've been toying with for a while and just never was really able to put it together. But what ended up making this possible is Gullveig. So the idea, of course, the main idea is that Tana allows me to warp a unit into a otherwise hard to reach location where a map designer has placed somebody and that I can pick off. Think with the thought process, of course, being nobody's going to get to this spot. I can safely place a unit here and I won't get punished for it. Except, surprise, this team can punish you for it. And again, what really makes this possible is the Gullveig. With the extra action, she is able to warp back out to safety, and then with the safety fence in play, as long as it doesn't get catapulted, I basically just aggroed the enemy team for free. And that's the value of this. So if you, it becomes really useful on setups. Actually, this was a pretty good example of setups with a save armor that is just not protecting a certain unit. Of course, the Corrin in this case was not protecting the note, so I was able to pick her off, get the enemies moving without having to deal with the Corrin, at least immediately. So that's the concept here. Pretty easy cleanup with just the one refresher and no crazy tricks. Like I think Rearmed Plumeria applies charge. Tricks like that are the sorts of things I'm worried about. And here the Corrin actually did have an assist, so it was perfectly safe for me to break those structures. The peony is forced to move first because she is closer to my team. and that enables a relatively easy cleanup, with Gullveig able to take down the peony, and then I believe Nerthus took out the Corrin. I want to say she did it on the player phase, which seems a little odd. No, she can do it. Okay, I thought maybe not because of the terrain, but evidently she was able to. For match number 4, I actually tried to do a safety fence strategy, and I just did not notice that the catapult was in the same column as my safety fence. This is still something that I'm learning to get used to, since I haven't been using the safety fence for very long. I put it on my, actually, that's not much of an excuse. It's been on my map for what, 4 weeks now? So it's actually been there for a bit. And yeah, sometimes I just totally forget to check for the catapult. And it almost hurt me on this map, but fortunately I was able to clear up enough enemies, and of course Medius cannot take out the Nerthus, which enabled me to just take out the rest of the enemies with no further casualties. For match number 5, I'm deploying Warp Central again. This is, I don't know, this was the map that made me realize maybe my composition on Warp Central is not quite as good as it should be. This defense fortress is actually level 3, in case you were wondering why my unit's visible stats are so inflated. And I still had a lot of trouble. Here I left all the structures intact, which forced only the 2 range units and flyers to move. That allowed me to pick off the Embla. And here I actually was able to use Nerthus to take out the Shez. And the purpose of that was to just keep the enemies from being able to get to me after a refresh from the Ninian. So Veil's tempo, of course, stops Nerthus from charging Gale Force on her. I was thinking about attacking Veil until I remembered, wait, tempo's going to screw me over here if I do that. But fortunately, the breaking the structure there also allowed Alir to move, and of course she moved first because of the assist setup. I wasn't really thinking about that at the time. I was mostly just thinking, with the Shez taken out, then there's no way for the Ninian to refresh one of the 2 range units into my team. But the Alir moving was another happy little side effect. This is why I said that I was rethinking the team composition after this. I just didn't really have a good way to deal with that Alir. I did end up, Gullveig was able to pull it off just with the triangle attack and getting rid of Alir's nearby allies. But having that much trouble with Veil, Robin, Alir, when your offense fortress has 2 levels on the enemy's defense fortress, was just not a good look, I didn't think. Here, to finish things off, I did end up having Tana just placed in front of the Ninian. Ninian stacks a lot of speed, but Tana's reasonably fast as well, especially with the fortress level advantage. So I was able to just have her tank a hit from Ninian. Not super well, but she was able to do it. And then to finish things off, Nerthus was able to take out the Aether Amphore, and Tana was able to secure the KO. For match number 6, I think this is, you can see the results of me fiddling with the team composition. I have removed Tana and replaced her with Ivy. Ivy, of course, has the additional utility of being able to warp to 2 spaces within her support partner, which I set up as Gullveig. Tana, of course, does not have warp capability quite like that. And then I switched Katria out for Ira. Mostly for the extra wall breaking capability. You probably noticed, as I did, that Katria does not just doesn't quite have the punch that was required for the map that I had just faced. She wasn't able to take out the Alir, whereas Ira would have been able to do that quite cleanly. So that is the idea behind the composition changes that I made there. And of course, losing Katria, the blow of losing the triangle attack is a little muted by the fact that Ivy has strikes twice built into her weapon, and Ira has Flow Desperation, I think is what it's called. Gullveig, of course, kind of misses the strikes twice, but she also has 60% damage reduction on the first enemy attack, so it's not a huge deal. I also did find that the extra warp capability was really funny. I don't know if I used it here. Yeah, no, I just broke structures. But you can pull some pretty funny movement shenanigans off with double warping. For match number 7, I've deployed the Warp Central team again. This is actually another instance of me not realizing there was a catapult in range of in the same column as my safety fence. But fortunately, just because of the way this team plays, it didn't end up mattering. So here you can see, obviously, the catapult destroys my safety fence and the enemies start moving. But with no refresher and with Crom way in the back, the enemy team still wasn't able to reach me. It did pose a bit of a problem for actually responding to their advance, of course. But fortunately, I was able to take out the Claude. And then I thought, with the Medius out of the way, I would be able to have Ira take out the Asker and then use Massive Canto to escape. But no, the Crom also had Canto control, so 2 serious mistakes in one map. Very unfortunate, but I was able to overcome both of them with the proper sequencing of repositioning, allowing me to have Nerthus use Canto to get out of enemy threat range, after getting Ira out of threat range as well. So here, relatively simple cleanup. From this position, I imagine I probably needed to use some warp shenanigans to grab the Aether Fountain. I can't imagine really being able to get around the Crom without them, but we'll have to see. Oh wait, no, did I trap him? I may have trapped him. Let's see, Gullveig can move here, right? And that allows Ivy to warp to her because she's within 3 spaces. Yes, and Peony traps from below. Ivy can do, yes, and then Gullveig actually can warp to the right side of the Crom because of Ivy. So that was an interesting little trap sequence that allowed me to grab the Aether structures and then have Ira finish the job. For match number 8, we unfortunately have another snoozer. The video ends as it began. I did a 2-pronged attack for this match, mostly because Gullveig can't really deal with Tiki. Alchrist, I think, now that I think about it, is really the only unit on any of my teams that can properly deal with that unit, and I guess I just have to be thankful that she's not more common. But yeah, that's an interesting tidbit about my raiding parties that you may not have known before. And then, of course, with the Flame Vein, Yoon was not able to threaten Gullveig's final position, and the enemies are just forced to advance kind of uselessly. And from there, it's very simple cleanup. Alchrist is able to just kind of storm up that left-hand side, taking out the Robin and the Note, leaving the Medius for next turn. Yeah, that's really all there is to say about this map, so I will just let whatever remains play out. And that is it. I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Aether Raids gameplay. I know I myself rather enjoyed playing that new Warp Central team. Definitely something I will be looking forward to playing more of in future light seasons. I am hoping to upload a video for the ongoing Chaos season next week, so do look forward to that. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you next time.